Deltarune right now? I've been busy! Hey divas, it's that time again. Deltarune Chapter 5 is officially out, so I thought I'd put together a little recap of Chapters 3 and 4 to jog our memory on where the story is before we begin. If you need a full story recap, last year I made a recap of Chapters 1 and 2 that you can watch before this video, but before we get into it, I want to retcon a couple things that I said in that video. Number 1, I like Rousey's hatless design right now. I think he's a cutie patootie. I don't think he's Asriel. Connected to Asriel, 100%, but not the same person, so you can ship him with whoever you want to, but I do think he needs to work on himself a little bit before that. Also, yeah, Don't Forget was the first full song with lyrics, but like Flowey has voice lines in Undertale, so I don't know why Jevil and Don't Forget stuck out to me so much. I don't know. Without further ado, let's freaking get into it. Chapter 3 picks up right where we left off from Chapter 2. Like, exactly where we left off. It's kind of freaky after waiting 4 years. We're in Chris's dark world based off of their living room. Susie and Chris wake up and find Rousey in a couch-like landscape. Susie begins to pitch to Rousey how cool it would be for him to come to the light world, which unfortunately causes Rousey to dive into the craziest lore/trauma dump like 5 minutes into the chapter, including a look at what most have assumed to be Susie's room and friend.device, which... damn, already? Okay. Surprising to no one but Susie, Rousey and the rest of the Darkners can't come to the light world without morphing into the objects they're based on.
Who the heck are you?
Mike?
Mr. Antenna.
Holy shit, I love this guy. This is Tenna, the personification of Chris's living room TV as a giant 3D game show host who can hit a mean cabbage patch. Tenna rules over the Stark world as the boss of a giant TV studio, featuring the Weather Channel, TV remotes, outlets, dice left in the couch cushions, and... shadow guys? The Darkners are a little random in this one. The main gimmick of this chapter is that you're playing a game within a game, maneuvering your way through a Legend of Zelda-style map, fighting staged battles and answering quiz questions, which Chris can actually give you the answers to. Also, Rousey can turn into a block, and if you refuse to push him, you get this. The main boss fight of the first board features Elnina and Lanino, known as the Weather Duo, who are a couple that might have some issues with their egos getting in the way. Basically, whichever one you give more attention to during the battle will get a big head, causing the other to leave. Tenna steps in to end the battle and takes you to the physical challenge of the round, a cooking minigame that definitely didn't kill my S-rank run my first time playing. Not that it matters. After the game, you find out your rank based on your performance, which unlocks different rooms in the... Okay, Tenna. After each round, you can talk to Ram, a Cockney wall plug that apparently Chris used to play with when they were little. If you get an S rank or a Z rank on each board, you can unlock the Sword route, where Ram gives you access to play a single-player version of each board that turns a little sinister, but we'll have to come back to that later. Also in the green room, you can find Lancer, Elnina and Lanino having marital problems, and Rules Card, ready to get right in between the two. The other rooms lead you to a gacha ball machine, an arcade to replay physical challenges and unlock a new one, and a water cooler that you must beg for mercy from. As you go to the next round, Susie goes to chat with Tenna about the upcoming board. Board 2 is suspiciously similar to Board 1, but this time you're collecting vacation photos with the ultimate goal of reconnecting two lovers at Lover's Cliff. During this board, Susie swaps the input of the controllers to avoid having to solve puzzles. If you take this opportunity to equip Susie with a ribbon, Rousey will look back at you. No, not Chris. You. Hey, buddy. How's it going? Anyway, you can use this opportunity to help Rousey learn to make decisions for himself until Susie sees some bombs she'd like to throw and changes the controllers back. Oh yeah, this whole time, Tenna has been gone on a mysterious phone call, which could mean nothing. You eventually battle Shutta, a camera thing, and make your way to Lover's Cliff, where you find...
So you must be... the X.
Yeah, so Rules infiltrates the Weather Duo as a way to combat the Fun Gang's battle throuple.
What did he say? What?
This takes us to the minigame ever, a rhythm game featuring a song heavily connected to December holiday called Raise Up Your Bat. Rousey switches up the lyrics to be more family-friendly, and Susie does her own thing. Completing this round unlocks a bonus round, but at this point, Susie and Rouse are a little over the game show. You can find rules with his throuple,
Doing my freaking makeup?
give Lancer a spin, and play another round in the sword route. This round requires you to have the ice key from the first round, which could mean nothing. Susie goes to tell Tenna that you won't play another round, and you end up overhearing Tenna admit that he's trying to keep you distracted for some reason. Man, there's nothing that pisses me off more than people that don't tell you the whole deal. You mean Tenna? Sure. That's what she means, buddy. You decide to investigate a bit more around the green room and make your way past the parental controls into a snowy landscape where you find Toriel inside a gotcha ball. You're found by Tenna, who forces you into board 3, morphing it into the Doom board, a red fiery landscape where it seems like not even Tenna is having a good time.
If you're not having fun, and I'm not having fun, then who is having fun?
I'm having a boy.
Exactly!
Also, Tenna has fangs now. This took Tumblr by storm. You play messed up versions of the previous battles, quizzes, and minigames until you eventually use a zapper to turn the battle off and escape. This takes you to the rest of TV World, and after being pretty contained to the relatively calm and small green room and boards, it feels so good to be in an expansive world with an incredible upbeat soundtrack. You go through the world, recruiting Tenna's employees to your side as he goes a bit off the rails. If you have the deal maker on you, you can also unlock an exclusive cutscene that confirms the connection between Tenna and Spamton. Also, you get to play this cowboy minigame that makes Rouse the horse, which I think is funny. You can also let Susie smash all the houses from the optional Susiezilla minigame, and she just looks so darn cute when she does it. You go stealth mode, but really fast. You free 1 billion shadow guides from their 9 to 5, explaining why you need to recruit 25 of them, and eventually free all of your former enemies from their contracts with Tenna. Well, there's also this guy. Rules eventually figures out that dating the 2 people that are second in command to Tenna does not also make him second in command by association, and he decides to battle you in an attempt to win Tenna's favor. Lancer helps you recruit enemies to your side, eventually including Elnina and Lanino, who, in frustration with Rules' laser pointer, kick him out of their polycule. They agree that, from now on, the only lover I need is someone I can share the sky with.
Starwalker.
Everyone, including Mike, has officially left Tenna's TV studio. The music stops, the atmosphere becomes dim, and you have one final chance at the sword route. This round takes place in the city board you were supposed to play, and for the first time, you're not alone. You're with your friends, who you'll have to kill in order to level up enough to break through the barriers. Which could mean nothing. You find yourself in a straight-up Zelda dungeon with an ice mage in a white cloak, which could also mean nothing. The common theory for this moment is that if someone is playing Deltarune for the first time years down the line, this stage might inspire them to go back to the beginning of the game and find the weird route organically instead of hearing about it on Twitter. This dungeon eventually leads you to what I'm going to refer to as Eram, the creature that either holds or is the Shadow Mantle, a piece of armor with great defense against dark attacks.
That's a surprise tool that can help us later.
After retrieving the mantle, Susie will come in to check on what you're doing. If you're evil or ship Chris and Susie, you can take control of 8-bit Chris and try to attack Susie, which will cause regular-sized Chris to pull her closer and... Okay, I love Suzelle, but I do see the vision. Of course, the sword route is entirely optional, and you have the option of going straight to Toriel, letting Tenna tell us his tragic backstory of being slowly forgotten during Asgore and Toriel's divorce, and eventually entering the main boss fight of the chapter against Mr. Ant Tenna himself. This fight just might be my favorite fight in all of Deltarune. The battle music is top tier, the WarioWare-style gameplay is fun, and Tenna starts doing whatever the hell this is. I love it. After you rack up 1,000 points, Tenna is defeated, shrinking down to his sad, lonely little self, and Rousey decides to comfort him by confirming that, yeah, he has served his purpose and is officially obsolete. Susie surprisingly does not agree with this and gives Tenna a rousing speech about going where you're wanted and finding your people. This reinvigorates Tenna, and he agrees to give Toriel back. And that's chapter 3. Pretty widely regarded as a filler chapter without many additions to the lore, but... Okay, so those mysterious phone calls Tenna was taking? Probably from or in service to the Knight. The Roaring Knight? The Knight that causes the roaring. And they're here right now and trying to take your mom. Also, yeah, Tenna is dead. This enters you into a scripted lost battle with the Knight, which probably takes you out pretty easily after using most of your items in the Tenna fight. However, with the Shadow Mantle, or just by being cracked enough at the game, you can get the option to go back and try again. Eventually beating the Knight will give you the chapter Shadow Crystal and a hint at Chris's possible true alliance, but whether you beat the Knight or not, a familiar blue spear appears in the distance. The knight decides that taking Undyne is a better choice than Toriel and flies away with her in hand. Susie runs after them, eventually seeing the knight go into the mysterious bunker and slam the door. Despite Susie's best efforts, you can't get into the bunker, but you do find out that there is an input pad for a code that could possibly unlock it. Susie gives up and leaves Chris at the bunker, and the door opens, ending the chapter. Could you imagine if Chapter 3 released on its own? Lovingly, it's my favorite chapter, but I do admit that it feels incredibly low stakes until the very last minute. Thankfully, we aren't left on a massive cliffhanger here, and we can continue right into Chapter 4 after a word from our sponsors. Is getting real. Chapter 4 starts back at the Dark Fountain, sealing it before you wake up back in the Dreamer house, with Susie adorably enjoying some pancakes while Toriel gets ready for church. Also, Toriel's choir robe is the same as her Undertale outfit, which could mean nothing. Chris and Susie both put on some of Asriel's old clothes and you head to church. This is where the tone shift between Chapter 3 and Chapter 4 became most obvious to me. The light coming in through the rafters and the distant organ music tells you that this is the chapter where we lock the fuck in. Chapter 1 was board games, Chapter 2 was computer games, Chapter 3 was game shows, and Chapter 4 is Catholic guilt. You go into church with Susie, and you, the player, learn that the religion that most of the town follows is actually the prophecy that Chris and Susie are a part of. After church, we get this great cruisy moment, and you try to interrogate the town for clues about the bunker code, but Chris is incredibly unhelpful to your search. Eventually, you work out that the mayor has something to do with the bunker, and you need to go to Noelle's house to search further. Also, I think this is the first time that it was actually confirmed that the mayor is Noelle's mom, so there's that. You can dilly around hometown for a while, watch Asgore fail to get Toriel back again, head to the diner, get an award from Susie, and check in on Castletown. You can bring Tenna to Castletown and also have a cutie-dootie tea party with Rouse. This whole scene is the equivalent of giving a dog a treat before taking it to the vet. Also, Rouse has no furniture. Rouse's lack of self-worth will be a recurring theme throughout this chapter. Eventually, Chris and Susie make it to Noelle's house and you get an opportunity to look around. The best thing to come out of this section is getting an Among Us reference in 2025 and Susie and Noelle's incredibly awkward romantic tension. As you start your study session, Noelle gets a call from Birdley to ask her if she'd like to join him at the festival. Susie throws the phone away to give Chris some time to search around while she's distracted, and at this point you can enter the previously blocked off room. This room obviously once belonged to Des, and if you try to investigate her guitar, Chris will rip you out of their body and throw you into a box to keep you from finding something. As the soul, you can travel through the vents trying to get back to Chris, who just wants some chocolate milk and to play the piano. Also, if you're doing the weird route, the game diverts a little bit, allowing Chris and Noelle to have a one-on-one chat where she reveals that when Chris jumped out the window in Chapter 2, they came to Noelle's house to reassure them that none of what just happened was real, and to take the thorn ring out of their finger. Of course, at this point, you can put the thorn ring back in her finger and officially solidify yourself on the weird route. Back to the normal route, Chris is getting some spooky and evil phone calls that are represented in a similar way as Tenna's mysterious phone calls that may or may not be connected to the night, which could mean nothing. As the soul, you attempt to get Susie and Noelle's attention, leading Chris to try and kill you with a hockey stick while Susie and Noelle flirt in what is likely her dead sister's room. The soul eventually draws enough attention to the guitar for Susie to grab it, and the mysterious phone voice isn't super stoked about this. Asgore interrupts Noelle's attempt to ask Susie on a date, who is working as a housekeeper for the mayor and also maybe has a mysterious black card. And we meet Carol Holiday, who is not too fond of gay people. She rips the guitar out of Susie's hands and kicks her out, but not before Susie pulls a peridot.
Apparently more than you CLOD!
Carol tells Chris that we are welcome at any time, either referring to Chris or us the player, and Susie absolutely destroys Noelle's snack plate. It starts to rain, so you head to Chris's house, but the door is locked, so you need to find Toriel at choir practice. The Susie sprite of doom and despair. Awesome! The town church has turned into a dark world and it's likely that Toriel is trapped inside. You make your way inside the church and oh my god, it's beautiful. I love this dark world. A big mechanic of this world is using pianos to play songs that can unlock doors for you. You find the dark fountain giving the world form and the roaring knight appears again. Susie tries to stand up to the knight but is knocked down, leaving Chris to try and make their way towards the knight on their own. Even if you reach the knight, Chris is struck down and Chris and Susie fall to a lower level of the sanctuary, breaking a large sheet of glass and injuring Chris on the way. Susie does her best to heal them, but Rouse interrupts to do it himself. Rouse is super on edge for some reason throughout this dark world, which could mean nothing. Making your way to the next room brings you to several more glass tapestries retelling foretelling Rousey's prophecies, along with some of the best music in the game. You go through several light-based puzzles and come across a prophecy panel with the Fun Gang on it, but it's shattered by a mysterious hammer. The room goes dark, and you try to make your way through, but encounter an enemy that Rousey instructs you to run away from. You then find a suspiciously Gerson Boom-shaped old man. He tries his best to bond with Susie, but she's really not feeling it. You end up escorting the old man back to his study, and he tricks Susie into solving a puzzle while Chris is given the option to show Rousey compassion. The old man continues to shatter the prophecy panels and attempts to lead you through a maze in a way that I'm sure is supposed to teach you a lesson about finding your own way. You eventually make it to the old man's study, in which he is trying to write a letter to someone. You can also learn about the Hammer of Justice, which is the not-so-secret boss of Chapter 4. This boss includes some crazy lore drops about what might happen in Chapter 5. Basically, what you need to know is that we're screwed unless Susie breaks the prophecy. You continue through the sanctuary until coming to a very dark zone, featuring the only fight besides the knight that killed me on my first playthrough. And I can't stay mad at this guy. Jackenstein has a super unique battle, letting you traverse many houses to collect TP and a key. Unless, of course... Turns out Jackenstein wants to stay in the dark because he thinks she's too scary, even though he's a little cutie patootie. He injures himself trying to run away, and though Rousey tries to heal him, it's not helping. Susie offers to help, but is shut down by Rousey, and she leaves to get out of the way. Old Man is there and baits Susie into shooting a healing blast inside of Jackenstein's head, healing the inside of him instead of just the outside, and he gives you climbing claws in return. Now you can traverse the world vertically as well as horizontally, opening up new areas. When you reunite with the old man, he has a little tea party set up with you, in which Susie tells the story of your adventure, and Chris and Rousey do... something, I don't know. You climb past the cup-tins and several water coolers to a large piano, which Susie can get the sheet music for when talking to the old man. You can attempt to play it, but Chris will always mess up the last bit. You, the player, have to let Chris take control in this moment, which gives Chris the power of extra sprite animations in a beautiful scene that unlocks the next area you need to reach. The old man asks Susie to deliver a letter for him, and you make your way back to where you first encountered the knight at the beginning. And also right now, the knight is also here right now. You climb after the knight, and Susie reveals her new running animation as the knight flies through a great door and slams it shut. Rousey decides that you should take this opportunity to seal the fountain while it's unguarded, but there's a second dark fountain in the church. Searching around, you can discover a hammer covered in dust, revealing that the old man is a darkener based on Pastor Albin's deceased father. Susie delivers the letter to the pastor and gets the idea to create another dark fountain to get into the knight's dark world. Also, this gives us the best Chris sprite in the entire game. Susie's Dark World is very similar to the one you just came from, but inverted with a remixed theme. You come across prophecies declaring Rousey as the lonely prince, Chris as the cage, and Susie as the girl. Well, maybe. There might also be two girls, and maybe it's supposed to be Noelle. Either way, if love finds its way to the girl, Suzelle is probably happening. Susie gives a heartbreaking monologue about finally being meant for something while you climb a 3D tower. But now I got hope crossed on my heart. If Susie isn't meant to be in the prophecy, it is going to wreck both her and me. Susie runs ahead in excitement to see what is next for her, but something shatters the panel before she can see the last prophecy. You have an awesome friendship moment with Susie while climbing away from these ball thingies, get the Chapter 4 trailer moment, and find the old man's empty study. Susie thinks she has found the old man, but she actually found the statue of him that has come to life and is also evil now. Susie battles the statue in the dark, with Chris swooping in to protect her once the statue is revealed as not the old man. Eventually, Rousey lands the killing blow, and Susie confronts him for being secretive about what's happening.
If you know something, then just tell us!
Susie, I know you're in the right, but please don't yell at him. He's just a baby. Rousey reveals how hard it is for him to know the ending of the prophecy while still being part of the Fun Gang. Susie agrees to let Rousey go first to keep the ending of the prophecy a secret, if Rousey agrees to be more honest about what's happening. You get the door code from the fire extinguisher and seal Susie's fountain, letting you enter into the fountain that the knight created through the light world. This brings you to one of the craziest songs in the entire game, further remixing the themes from Susie's Dark World to feature a 23/8 time signature. I love this song. You continue your way through the sanctuary using the piano as a skateboard to escape the cloud of darkness. The game also gives you every opportunity to backtrack and get new items, so you know that is about to go down. You encounter a large wall that the knight tries to prevent you from climbing, but Jackenstein appears to help you climb. He eventually falls, but you were caught by all the enemies you have spared to make it to the top. You then traverse a dark room, where you take damage from an unknown source. Chris's soul lights up, and the Fun Gang takes turns taking the brunt of the damage as you slowly make your way to the other side, picking each other up as they go along. You make your way up a staircase towards the knight as they stab into the ground, not to create a fountain, but a titan from Rousey's Chapter 2 prophecy. Yeah, so this is bad. You climb onto the Titan's shell and climb it while it actively deteriorates, its eyes following your every move and black smoke bursting from its sides. While attempting to climb, you encounter the Titan spawn, which use a similar TP gimmick as Jackenstein's battle, letting you collect it and then using Chris's soul to banish the spawn with light. Once reaching the top, the Titan's full form is revealed. Yeah, we're kind of fucked, but at least the music is good. Collecting enough TP allows Chris to use Unleash, breaking down the Titan's outer armor and letting you do much more damage. Rousey then instructs you to quit the pacifist BS and kill that guy, but if you do enough damage, the Titan will regenerate, undoing all the progress you've made. The end seems bleak, like you'll be trapped inside an eternal battle that you can't win, fighting until your items deplete and the Titan triumphs over you.
I need a hand, I am motherfucking Gerson Boom.
The old man joins your party, allowing you to break through the Titan's defenses much easier until Susie gets an idea on how to stop the Titan from within. Screw it. Get dunked on! Chris and Susie fall through an endless black ocean, as Chris's soul lights up and presumably seals the Titan like a fountain from the inside. Once out, Susie runs ahead to find the old man. Rousey briefly celebrates your victory until realizing that Susie is about to see the ending of the prophecy. As you finally catch up to her, she shatters the panel before the player can see it. We don't find out what happens in it, but Susie assures Rousey that she won't let it happen, even though he doesn't believe it's possible. Rousey breaks down crying, giving Chris the option of comforting them, or not if you're the worst person ever. You go forward and seal the fountain, and return to the light world. It's finished raining, and the town feels quiet and empty. You should feel triumphant after taking down such a great foe, but you're left with a sense of impending doom about what awaits you in the rest of the prophecy. At least you can finally see what happened to Toriel. Sans Undertale? I hate you. Yeah, so it turns out the reason Toriel wasn't around is because she was busy being befriended by Sans and was perfectly safe the whole time getting wine drunk and dancing. Great, thanks, Mom. I'm a die-hard Toriel defender, but when I saw this scene for the first time, I felt nothing but rage. Susie ends up leaving, and we see Chris attempt to fall asleep while Toriel and Sans are making a ruckus downstairs. Turns out Susie didn't actually leave and takes a moment to assure herself that you won't let the final moments of the prophecy happen. Chris gets a final mysterious phone call, and the chapter ends. But now you can backtrack and meet Mike! And also Mike! And Mike. So yeah, Mike is like 3 guys, and 1 is Bluey. Case closed. That brings an end to Deltarune chapters 3 and 4. Chapter 5 is certainly already out by the time I finish this video. It comes out in 45 minutes from when I'm recording this, so you should just go play it. Sorry I didn't get this video out earlier, I was busy doing stuff. I'm trying not to have any big expectations or predictions for chapter 5, but based on the ARG letters that we got yesterday, I am scared. Also a reminder to not look at the soundtrack if you're trying to keep away from spoilers, which I am. Now if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go listen to my new favorite soundtrack from chapter 5. Rudy is the roaring knight, plus Papyrus is a friend inside me, plus Gaster is green and in between, WD Wingding Gaster, December Holiday, Friend.Device, Pluey, Peepit. Hey divas, I just finished editing the whole video and I was looking at it and I'm like, wow, that outro is not funny. Nor like satisfying, so I figured I would record an actual outro. Thank you for watching. I really wish I could have gotten this out before chapter 5 came out, but June was a busy month for me, so sorry about that. I hope that this helps someone. I made my 1 and 2 recap last year as a way to like get myself in the Deltarune mood before the new chapters, and it worked really, really well, so I was really excited to do that. I'm recording this outro on the day that I post this video, and I have started chapter 5 at this point, and I love it. I love it so much. Oh my gosh, I won't say anything, because if you're still avoiding spoilers, if you can't play it till the weekend, then this video's for you, but so worth the wait so far. Oh my goodness, I cannot wait to keep playing it. I am finishing this video as like an incentive to get to play more chapter 5. So I hope you enjoy the video. I will be posting a review to chapter 5 as soon as I finish it and process it and let it sit for a little bit. So stay tuned for that, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.